I'm going to show you some PvP gear that you can farm in New World solo in the open world. Now, not all of this gear is like this, but some of it is actually quite good. But before I show you, if you want to support the channel, becoming a YouTube member is really the best way. Okay, so let's jump in. So first, we're going to start with Heka of the Crossroads. Now, this boss actually spawns in 2 different places, depending on if it's daytime or nighttime. If it's nighttime, he spawns very north of Brimstone Sands at a place called Heka's Cauldron. And if it's daytime, they spawn west of Corsica City, the city of Brimstone Sands, just above Atom's Way. Now, the item that he drops is called Regular Pants. Bit of a boring name, but the pants are anything but regular. The pants are light armor with Constitution, and the perks are Refreshing, Shirking Fortification, and Resilient. Quite a nice set, and the fact that it's Constitution allows you to be flexible in what you're building. There's also a decent ring that drops, which is Strength, Refreshing, Slash Damage, and Leeching. Quite a good item there, I think. Heka, I believe, spawns about every 4 minutes. Most of these bosses are going to spawn every 4 minutes, so if I don't say anything about them, just presume it's about every 4 or 5 minutes. And the next boss we're going to want to look at is Lord Sobek. Lord Sobek spawns south of Brimstone at a place called Wadi El Sobek. Basically a big alligator that you need to kill, and the item we're looking for here is called the Royal Lagoon Chest Wraps. Now, this is a medium dex piece with vigor, resilient, and physical aversion, so quite decent, but maybe not amazing depending on your build. Sobek also drops the Crown of Sobek, which is a nice heavy armor helm which has strength, angry earth, vigor, and physical aversion, and he also drops a decent axe. That big alligator, I think, is worth farming, and generally you'll find some people farming it alongside you. Now, the next item we're going to look at is called the Hellish Leggings. Now, this one is very interesting. So I believe the main boss that's supposed to drop this is Aquilifer Scala, and they are at Castrum Infurus. Now, what's interesting is this is not the only place to get this item, but I'll talk about that in a moment. The Hellish Leggings themselves are quite good. They are light armor with intelligence, vigor, shirking fortification, and resilient. This enemy also drops a decent void gauntlet. However, that does have corrupted bane, so I'm not sure it's all that hot, and it is focus. However, these 2 items also drop weirdly on a much lower level boss. North of Everfall, there is a place called the Spread, and there are 2 enemies, Artisan and Tured. Now, they seem to drop these 2 items. Now, I'm not going to farm them just to confirm it, but it is on New World database that they drop. It's a little bit weird because these mobs are only like level 26. And what's good about the low level mobs is that you can kill one and then run over and kill the other and then run back and forth. So it's a little bit quicker, but just a little bit weird. Probably going to get fixed at some point. And the next one is Keheldoria. I have no idea how you say some of these. But this boss is at the Pools of Orcus, which is just a little bit southwest of Brimstone Sands. And it drops a heavy set of boots, which have strength, resilient, refreshing ward, and invigorated. A pretty decent set for heavy PvP. And they drop a Dex Greatsword with Keen, Mortal Empower, and Trenchant Rend, which is pretty decent. Now, the next one is, of course, going to be Stubbles the Goat. Now, I covered the goat a little bit with my previous video talking about ward armor, but the TLDR of it, the goat's at the place of pillars. You need to have completed the jump puzzle and then teleport up. The goat spawns on this little ledge and you don't want to get knocked down. You need to go onto the ledge to spawn him, otherwise he may not spawn and you won't see him there. And he has about a 9-minute respawn. He's really easy to kill because once he's spawned you can just jump across the ledge and then shoot him from range, but he's just a little bit different from the rest of them. However, the gloves that he drops are pretty decent. He drops something called the Bouldering Gloves, which are heavy with Constitution, refreshing, resilient, and empowering breaker. Now, empowering breaker, perhaps not the most amazing things because people aren't generally blocking at the moment, but a decent okay item. Not amazing, but decent. Stubbles also drops Castrum Crown of the Goat King, which is a ancient ward armor piece, which is a helm with con and strength, refreshing ward, and physical aversion, as well as ancient ward. Pretty decent actually for tanks especially. Now, the next one is a nice little kitty catty called King Duranga. Now, you can find him at Anhur's Pride. Now, unfortunately, King of the Jungle, which is the item that drops, does actually include Beast Ward, which, let's face it, completely pointless for PvP. So I don't really think this one is worth farming myself. I think you'd be better just buying a 2 perk item, because what is the point of this item? But I'm just including it for completion's sake. It is a heavy armor piece that has strength, beast ward, resilient, and refreshing. There are definitely some PvP items there that are worth farming, but the last 2 I'm less sure about, because if you want a 2 perker, you can just go ahead and buy a relatively cheap item off the trading post. There's no need to go and farm these. But the earlier ones with shirking fortification and resilient, they're actually quite good. I would recommend farming those if you want to. How long will the farms take? Well, that's a bit of an open question. You could get it on your first run, you could get it in 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. There's no guarantee that you will get these, so just keep that in mind as well. The amount of time that you will spend farming these, is it worth it over going to the trading post and buying something else? That's a question that I can't answer for you. That's completely up to you. What is also up to you is if you want to support the channel, then becoming a YouTube member is the best way to do so. What I definitely hope you do though is have a most beautiful day, like and subscribe. Goodbye.